In this problem, we've been given the daylight hours and the days of the year. So our dependent variable is the hours of daylight. Okay, this is for Vancouver. And on day two, so for example, that would be January 2nd, we get about 7.75 hours of daylight. On January 8th, we get about just under 8. Day 56 would be some day in February, late February, you start getting more daylight. We get about 10.42. 83 would be some point in March, and again we start getting more daylight. And 150 would be somewhere in June, so we get lots of daylight in June, so 16.47. And as we go back to the end of the year, or 355, so that would be like sometime in December, we again back to low hours of daylight, so 7.68. So we graph this daylight. Okay, we're going to put it on our graph here. So I've scaled my axes on my vertical axis as hours of daylight, and I started at kind of 6 hours as the base. And so my scale is from 7 to 17, and my x-axis gives me the day of the year, and I've done up to 360. So I've scaled my axis as well. So each increment is about 15 days. Okay, so plotting this data, we get this kind of pattern. And this says here, describe the relationship. Well, the hours of daylight starts low at the beginning of the year, and it goes up. Just gonna, so it starts low, goes up, and then it comes back down to the end of the year. So I'm just gonna sketch that in. So it's gonna be this pattern that's gonna go up, kind of level out here, and then it's gonna come back down and gives us low hours of daylight at the end of the year. And it's just going to basically go up and down. It's what we call a sinusoidal curve. So this is basically goes up and down. And I'm just going to put in brackets here. This is a special curve. It's called a sine curve. Okay, so there's what my graph looks like. Okay, this is again this kind of repeating pattern often gives us this type of wave or curve. The quantities being related in this case are going to be the hours of light. It's going to be our dependent variable. So the dependent is hours of light, and the independent is the day of year. Okay, so given the day of the year, we can determine how many hours of daylight that day has. So there's our graph.